everybody. As you know, it is summertime. It is incredibly hot outside. And I also live in Texas, which, you know, it's not quite Arizona or Florida or Southern California. But it makes the summer pretty hot. Even though it's, you know, we're getting about halfway through now. I've decided to make a small change to the format of our channel. Since, you know, the fish are naturally going to be at lower depths, looking for water that doesn't get baked as much by the sun, and that's going to have a bit more oxygen in it. Thermocline physics are interesting, so make sure you go read about that if you don't know too much about that. So in an effort to find something that's going to be doable during the hot summer months and isn't going to require me to spend a lot of money on like a depth finder or anything like that, finding fish without one when they're deep down in the water like that can be rough. I certainly can't do it, you know, just by guessing. Texas doesn't have a lot of natural lakes. The majority of them are man-made, so that means that they have to be maintained by man, typically by the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Something I've learned about the TPWD, which is an acronym that I'm terrible at saying. I'm just going to say Texas Parks. Something interesting that Texas Parks does is on their website, they have a list of all the paddling trails that exist and are maintained by them, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. So if you wanted to, you could go to the link that I'm going to have in the description of the video. It's going to be down there. You could go to their directory of paddling trails or paddling parks or things of that nature that exist that are maintained by the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. And there's information about where to find them and kind of a brief description of the trail itself, plus anything that you might need to know about the area. But I don't think they're very detailed. So that's kind of where my new project comes in. I've decided, and I'm not going to put a time limit on it. You know, I don't get a lot of time off from work, which is fine. It's a way to live. But I don't get a lot of time off from work, so it's not like I could just go and drive across state for some of the further ones and just take a lot of time off. And then not necessarily something I could do in a day, anyways. This challenge that I have is I'm going to start with the closest ones. I've got 5 picked out from the list that the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department has, but I've picked out the closest 5, and I'm going to go and film the trails and paddle them as far as I can, do traveling information, things to take into consideration about getting rentals, admission fees, things to think about in the weather as far as planning goes, flooding, drought, storms, high winds, which also means high waves. For the further trips, that'll also mean things, you know, along the lines of lodgings, because some of them are, you know, far in the West Texas or down by Brownsville or Corpus Christi or anything like that. So in addition to, you know, going out and being part of the trail and let you guys see that and kind of have an idea of what's going on out there, I'll also be kind of doing, I don't want to call it like a travel show about getting to these places and about staying around them and taking advantage of what's there, but you know, that's what I'm going to be trying to be doing. I think that'd be really interesting. It'll give me an opportunity to see more of the state. It'll give me an opportunity to visit a lot of these really interesting parks and see a lot more of the wildlife and, you know, how the nature varies from region to region. And the best part, I think, about this is I wouldn't have known that any of these would have, you know, existed until I found the first one, which is kind of nearby in Rowlett. So that'll be great. The list has all of the parks kind of sectioned off by the classical geographical descriptions of the state. So I live in North Texas, around Dallas, which this map has declared as prairies and plains, which is fine. There's also East Texas, which is the Piney Woods area, and then we have the coastal area, a bit more in the northeast and the northwest and the west itself. So there's 5 or 6 different descript areas that the Parks and Wildlife Department website has these trails divided up into. I want to say that including the coastal trails, which I assume are going to be ones that involve bays and the coast, obviously, but bayous and deltas and river outlets into the ocean. Anything like that, I would imagine, will fall into the coastal parks. But all in all, the website lists 71 maintained paddling trails, and only 7 or 8 of them are coastal. So that's some 60 different freshwater pond or lake or river stream based paddling trails, which I'm super duper excited for. I mean, I could do those one a weekend for a year and still not be quite finished, and definitely not be satisfied. So that's what I've got in mind. I think it's going to be fun. Some of these places don't permit fishing for whatever reason. Some of them do. So I will probably take some fishing gear with me. Probably have to do a little research about what bite goes on at those particular bodies of water or waterways to see what's going to be best to take with me. But I think it'll be a good experience as far as being proficient on the kayak, being proficient on packing things to take with me, making sure I have the right stuff, making sure and learning about different water conditions and finding fish of different species in those conditions. And, you know, I'm going to have a lot of fun. That's the best part. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to be out in places I've never been before, you know, talking to and fishing with and boating with people I've never met before. And that's going to be the best part. The mystery and the adventure. Alright, so I made it back home. As you can see, I've just gotten off of work, which is what I do, so I'm going to come home and play some Xbox for a while, cool down and calm down. If anybody's interested in maybe finding me online, you know that we have Instagram and we're here on YouTube. So on Instagram it's at Captain Longbong, which is me, at Dr. Hotbox, which is my brother who doesn't appear in a lot of videos, but he's still trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do with his time in the film, and I'm going to give him plenty of time to work on that because I want him to be comfortable. But if you want to find us other ways than just Instagram or here on YouTube, at Captain Longbong and Dr. Hotbox are also our Xbox Live account names. So if you happen to have Xbox Live, you can find us there. You can send us a message or invite us to a voice group, you know, if you see us on. And if you don't look familiar, then I'll pop in and say, hey, and see what's up. You know, try to be polite. Nobody wants to pop into a random thing and be assaulted or anything like that. But, you know, if it's cool, then I'll pop in and I'll talk to you. Might play with you if we share game libraries and stuff like that. But I'm excited about this project.